Hey, welcome back. Another episode of we got bored and decided to build a street rod in the middle of our paint area at Minnesota Implement. Yeah, well, that's because we haven't been doing much painting because we're pretty slow, which has allowed me some time to play with toys, but not today too much. I only got about 2 hours in on this thing today, but I've made another landmark that will allow me to move forward on this thing, and that is getting the tail panel welded in here. So part of the trunk floor and then the tail panel. So that section of trunk floor, you'll notice it has an arch to it over the frame rails, and so that is fitted to the top of my gas tank. So that's where my gas tank sits. I'm using a Chevy Suburban 42-gallon tank that I got off of Jegs. Really reasonable price on that thing. I think it was $109 or something like that. And then the sending unit was $55. Tank straps, I think, were $25 or something. So very, very reasonable. Unfortunately, my tank straps, because I want to use as many factory parts as I can, and my stupid tank straps for the thing went on back order, and I won't be seeing those for another 2 or 3 weeks. But I can get by for now. But anyways, the main thing is getting this tail panel in here. So like I say, the floor pan of the trunk section acts as the ceiling panel for my gas tank to keep that separated from the driver's cabin. You always want to, if you can, at least put the gas tank outside of the vehicle. So in this case, it's going to be in the boat tail section, which might have a little trunk over it as well, but it's going to be outside of my driver's cabin completely, is the main thing. So just like it is on a Suburban, yes, it's in the rear, yes, it's not too far from the bumper, but it's under the car and outside of the driver's compartment, so it's still very safe. And then I used 18 gauge steel there, so a little bit thicker steel for both strength and safety, because if the tank does get pierced, pieces of shrapnel can't come up through the floor and cause a ventilation hole, or fire can't come up through the floor because of a tear. So I deliberately went a little more beefy with that panel for that purpose. And so, like I say, it'll get sealed in, and most likely this trunk section here, because I won't have a lot of height in here, the main thing that's probably going to go in here will be the T-tops. So I'll create a cavity, much like what you see on the back of a Fiero, where it's just got a tiny grocery compartment back there. I'll do the same. I'll just make a pocket for the T-tops to set into back there, because this is actually going to be a full-size back seat. So the grocery capacity on this thing is not real great if you've got passengers with. For as much cabin space as I'm giving it, it's going to be a lot like a Chevy Blazer. But because of our full airbag drop axle with the big wheel tubs, in order for this thing to set down on the ground, most of what would have been my trunk space is taken up by tubbing it deep enough to allow it to set all the way down to the ground as a lowrider, or whatever you want to say. So I have to sacrifice something on that, and that's trunk capacity, because it's highly unlikely that I'll have 5 people riding with me at any given time. So I'll always have the capacity of the back seat. But and then a small trunk here and a small trunk possibly in the tail, depending on how everything works out. But now we get to start lining up and cutting out the quarter panels, because that's what I needed, was some structure in the back of the car, so that as I start cutting this inner structure out and cutting my wheel tubs into these quarter panels, that I don't end up with kinks in my quarter panels or stuff moving, because I had no support back here for the tail section. So, because once we cut our wheel wells into these, there's only going to be about 4 inches of height left on that back of that quarter panel. So that thing could move pretty easy if I hadn't put this panel in first. And keep in mind, the whole reason we're preserving mainly this upper quarter panel and run is we are using the original rear hatch on here, and we want that glass to set down properly and still use the original latch and all that, because that just saves us a whole lot of engineering time. We've got a nice curved glass window that works well for a boat tail, so that's why we chose this body, because it's a start of a boat tail with the way that these quarter panels already start tapering in. So we're on our way to cutting in the tubs and making some progress. As you've seen in the other videos, I got most of the firewall in. I don't have a floor in it yet though, but we're making some progress very slowly because I actually have to get back to work and do more work here. So tomorrow I'm going to have to clear some of this stuff out and get the welders the heck out of here and clean up my grinding and everything so I can actually get back to painting. Obviously I have shut down my paint bay section of things in order to do the car in this section, because this is the most out of the way area, and well, I've only got 3 units that need painting, and they've got a 6-week lead, and I've got plenty of time on them still. But anyways, rambling on, because of course I'm overly tired like I always am, but yeah, thanks for watching another rambling episode of What the Heck Are We Doing at Minnesota Implement. Hey, I guess we're bored, let's build a street rod in the middle of everything else. But, you know, this is what I do to stay sane, supposedly. I don't know if that's possible anymore. I think the sanity kind of done left the building, but so it goes. Moving on, hammering on metal, maybe going to get some sleep. Who knows? Thanks for watching.